She thought the letter in her hand was the beginning of her new life. It was typed, formal, and cold. "I'm leaving you. Please don't contact me." She looked proud, almost relieved, until she reached the second page. The one I'd slipped in after printing it myself. The one with the full list of names, dates, accounts, passwords, and the message at the bottom: "I knew everything 6 months ago. I just waited long enough for you to feel safe." She lied easily. That's what made it dangerous. Not that she could do it, but that it didn't cost her anything. It didn't trip in her throat, didn't pull on her face. The way most people lie and then have to sit with it, she didn't have that. She could lie with a kiss still on her lips, a plate of food in her hands, a promise halfway out of her mouth. I didn't see it at first. Nobody ever does. That's what people like her count on. Early benefit of the doubt, late guilt for doubting it. We met clean, coffee shop. She liked my watch. I liked her voice. I made her laugh twice in 5 minutes. She told me I was better than dating apps. It all felt like timing. She said she liked men who listened. I said I liked women who didn't need to scream to be sharp. We both smiled like people who meant it. Back then, we were still pretending to be real. The first shift came in small ways. She started making jokes about my sister. Not mean, just passive. "Your sister's husband's still unemployed? Your mom seems to love giving advice no one asked for." Then it became, "Why do you let them talk to you like that? I'd never tolerate that kind of energy if I were you." She wasn't defending me. She was separating me. It's clearer now. The affair started in year 4, but the groundwork began in year 2. New phone habits, new passwords, sudden marketing dinners that I never saw on her schedule. Calls in the car she wouldn't take inside. She never turned cold. She stayed warm, loving, attentive. That's how I missed it. That's how everyone misses it. She still folded my laundry, still picked up my favorite snacks, still touched my shoulder when she walked by. People think cheating comes with neglect. No. When done well, it comes with excess attention, because they need you comfortable while they build the lie. It wasn't lipstick or perfume or late nights. It was a receipt, a $218 charge at a restaurant I knew she hated. I asked about it casually. She blinked once, smiled, said, "Oh, I took Molly there. Her client bailed last minute and she didn't want to eat alone." It was clean, too clean. Because 2 days before, Molly had posted an Instagram story from Denver, and the restaurant was in our city. I didn't ask again. Instead, I started watching. Not stalking, not following, just quiet watching. I read her messages when she left her iPad open. I checked her tone when she said he in conversation and then didn't say who. I logged the times her explanations arrived a second too late. I listened. She said she wanted to take a weekend away to clear her head. She came back with different perfume, not stronger, just different. She kissed me at the airport, told me she missed me. I smiled and told her I missed her too. But in my head, I was already mapping the timing, and I knew. I didn't leave, didn't confront, didn't spiral. I just started pulling threads. I spoke to her ex quietly, not to cause drama, but to study the blueprint. He didn't have much to say until I asked one question. "When she left you, did it feel sudden?" He laughed. "No, it felt planned, like I was the only one who hadn't gotten the memo." From then on, I documented everything. Every lie I could verify. Every moment I caught her switching pronouns mid-sentence. Every dollar she moved around quietly. Every time she redirected a question with affection. Every moment she said, "I'm just tired," when she wasn't. I set up a private drive, password protected, hidden folder. I copied her messages, screen recorded her calls when they popped up on the iPad. She never checked the backup account. She was too confident. That's what people like her forget. When you're used to being smarter than everyone, you forget to look behind you. Her affair wasn't just emotional. It wasn't even sexual primarily. It was positional. He was higher up in a company she wanted access to. He had contacts, invitations, rooms she wanted to be seen in. I realized that when I saw her pitch deck with his logo watermarked at the bottom, she never told me they were working together, because they weren't. He was opening the doors. She was walking through them in a dress I bought her using my last name. The moment I knew she was going to leave me wasn't when she got colder, it was when she got nicer. Overnight. Suddenly she was cooking again, offering sex when she hadn't in months, texting during the day, using pet names. Because people who are about to leave, they don't fight anymore. They pacify, because they're building a peaceful exit. I waited because timing is everything. You don't win by catching them mid-lie. You win by letting them stack the whole lie up and then pulling the bottom row at the perfect moment. The letter came on a Wednesday, folded, clean, hand-delivered to our kitchen counter. I saw her leave it there while I pretended to be on a call. She walked out quietly. No tears, no scene. She expected a delayed reaction. She always counted on that. I opened it slowly, typed, polite. I think we both know things haven't felt right for a while. I've done a lot of thinking. This isn't a decision I made lightly. I'm moving out this weekend. Please don't try to convince me otherwise. 3 paragraphs, no mention of the man, no ownership, just clean language, practiced phrases, and a tone that made her the victim of my stability. And attached was a second page, but not hers, mine. Typed and printed from my own machine, slipped in before she ever folded the envelope. A list of the man's name, his wife's contact, the hotel dates, screen captures, bank transfers, deleted files she didn't know were backed up, and at the bottom, I knew everything 6 months ago. I just waited long enough for you to feel safe. She didn't respond. She didn't come back for her things. She knew, not just that she'd been caught, but that every version of herself she'd built with me was now broken in front of the one person she couldn't lie to, herself. I didn't file for anything dramatic, just quiet separation. No alimony, no court fight, but I sent the full packet to her new company's HR, not out of revenge, out of clarity, because her position was based on integrity. And when integrity goes, so does everything built on it. I live smaller now, less space, less noise, but nothing feels missing because she didn't take anything real when she left, just the lie she'd built in my name. She didn't try to fight the exposure, not directly. She disappeared for a while. That's how people like her cope. Disappear, reshape, reappear somewhere new, hoping the dust settles. The problem was she'd made herself visible to the wrong people on the way up. And the higher she tried to climb, the more hands I placed copies of her foundation in. It started with a quiet message to his wife, not to compare wounds, just to hand over the log. I wrote, "Do with it what you want. I'm not looking for closure, just truth." She responded 3 days later. No punctuation, no emotion. "Thank you, he's gone." That was it. But what followed wasn't small, because it wasn't just an affair. It was a breach of contract, NDA violations, favoritism in procurement deals, misuse of internal data. She'd passed him information from my clients thinking it was clever. He'd used it to leapfrog into early access investments thinking no one would track it. But I had the email trail, forwarded from her account to his, and now from mine to legal. It didn't all collapse at once. That would have been mercy. It unraveled piece by piece. First, he was suspended. Then she was disinvited from 2 panels. Then her mentorship contract with a women in tech nonprofit was put on hold pending review. None of them ever reached out to ask why, because people don't question clean documentation, and I kept everything clean. A month later, I heard she moved in with her sister. Not out of closeness, out of nowhere else to go. Her friends stopped responding. Her colleagues ghosted her once her name dropped from the conference lineup. The next man didn't show up. And when you've burned your image to fuel your rise, there's nothing left to keep you warm on the way back down. I didn't date, didn't post, didn't talk about her, because silence is the loudest form of certainty. And I wasn't angry. I was finished. That's what she never saw coming. She expected damage. She expected grief or rage or me spiraling. She didn't expect peace. 6 months later, I got a letter, not handwritten, typed, still her, still trying to control the tone. I understand now what I did. I know it wasn't just the affair, it was how I made you feel invisible. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just a chance to speak if you ever feel like hearing me. I didn't feel like hearing her. Because the thing about people like her, they don't apologize when they're sorry. They apologize when they have nothing left to lose. I didn't reply. I left the letter on my counter for a week. Then I burned it. 3 months passed without a word. Then I saw her again. It was a fundraiser, small venue, local arts thing. I wasn't expecting to run into anyone. I showed up late, grabbed a glass, stood near the back wall like I always did, and then I saw her walk in, alone. Hair longer, thinner, eyes scanning like she didn't expect to see anyone either. Or maybe she was hoping she would. She noticed me right away. No drama, no gasp, Just a slight pause in her step and that trained little smile she used when she wanted to look unbothered. I didn't move. She walked toward me slowly like it was my job to set the rules of engagement. But I didn't speak, just looked. She reached arm's length, stood there for a second, then said, "Hey." That was all. I nodded once. She waited. Then said, "You look good." I didn't respond. Her smile faltered. That was new. Then she said, "I've been thinking about everything, what I did, how I handled it." Still, I said nothing. She nodded as if confirming something to herself. "I just wanted to tell you, you didn't deserve any of that." There it was, the performance, the apology designed to unburden her, the confession shaped to be flattering. I let it hang between us. Then I finished my drink, set the glass down on the table beside me and said, "You didn't come here to apologize. You came to see if I still think about you." She blinked. I continued, "And I don't." That was it. I turned and walked out. She didn't follow, because the worst thing you can do to someone who builds their entire identity around being unforgettable is forget them. I didn't hear from her again. No calls, no emails, no chance encounters, just silence. Exactly the kind she used to weaponize, only now it was aimed at her. Years have passed. I don't tell the story often, not because I'm protecting her, but because there's nothing to rehash. There was betrayal. There was damage, there was patience, and then there was nothing. Because some endings don't need noise, some endings don't need closure, some endings just need to be over. Thanks for watching, like, share, and let's hear what you think. Until next time, take care.